I'm explaining a film from 2017 titled The Wall. Spoilers ahead. Enjoy the content. The movie begins stating that in 2007 Iraq war is coming to the end. President Bush declared victory and then outlined the nation's reconstruction efforts. In order to stop the gunman who is murdering the U.S. Army Command's engineers who are working on the pipeline, 2 troops have been dispatched into hostile territory. A sharpshooter, after spending 18 hours there, Sergeant Shane Matthews informs his spotter Sergeant Alan Isaac that they have not seen any movement or shadows. 6 of their working guys, including 2 security escorts, are dead out there, the spotter informs him. He claims that because the gunman eliminated them so fast, they were unable to flee for their lives. They called the shooter Haji and assumed that he is a very professional who took their men with single shots. Matthews tells him that he might be Juba, a sharpshooter with an impressive accuracy. Isaac believes Juba could be hiding behind the wall. He is reminded by Matthews of their task to locate the shooter prior to the base sending out additional builders. After a few hours, under the sweltering heat of the sun, Matthew becomes agitated and remarks that there might not be any Hajis behind the wall. They must have returned after murdering them. He says that he was 60% certain and that he is now 80. Isaac concurs. Matthews becomes agitated by the heat and moves away from his spot. Isaac makes fun of him for being too hefty for the jets and claims he could bring the entire thing down when he says he should have joined the Air Force. Now Matthews walks down the hill to take a closer look at the construction site in the wall. He asks Isaac to cover him 360, keeping his eyes open. He comes down and inspects the shots on the dead bodies. He tells Isaac that they are all head shots and there is indeed some sniper hiding somewhere. When he asks him to give him an update on his surroundings, Isaac replies that he can't see properly since his scope is getting cloudy. Matthews sees something fishy there and urges him to get it back to work ASAP. He heads to the center of the scene to see which way the bullets could be taking, but Isaac motions for him to return to the hill. The shot in the desert is injured and Matthews is abruptly struck in the abdomen. In a frantic attempt to save his companion, Isaac likewise sprints in a zigzag pattern to dodge any approaching bullets. Isaac is also targeted by the gunman, who fires at him. He keeps rushing to go back to Matthews despite Matthews screaming at him to take some shelter. When he is about to reach Matthews, he gets shot in the knee. Matthews again asks him to take cover behind the wall. Then he leaves Matthews behind on the ground and jumps to hide behind the wall. Injured Matthews constantly contacts Isaac and asks him to get radio from the dead soldier and call the base and ask for backup and extraction. Isaac screams as he realizes his right leg's gunshot wound is growing worse. To stop the blood from spilling out, he fastens a belt around it. He now crawls, reaches for his radio bag, and tries to call the base, but the radio is unable to detect any frequencies. This enrages him even more when he discovers that the radio's antenna has been broken and that it was struck by a gunshot. Isaac requests that Matthews refrain from touching the rifle when he calls him again and asks him to locate the sniper so that he may take out his gun and shoot him. He will be dead the moment he touches the pistol. He alerts him to the fact that the sniper is monitoring their actions. Despite his warning, Matthews makes a failed attempt to reach out to his sniper rifle but passes out midway because of pain and blood loss. While Isaac takes out the bullet from his knee and bandages the wound, passes out after that. When Isaac regains consciousness in the next scene, he hears a voice emanating from his wireless earpiece. He identifies himself as Captain Simmons and replies from the base. Isaac starts reporting the problem right away and asks for a medevac. But when the officer asks for his challenge code and he keeps chatting, he starts to become suspicious. He stood up and fired into the air as the officer requested him to announce his position so they could find his actual location for delivering the medical supplies. In response, Isaac says that this is not how protocol is done. As soon as this man uses the term sergeant, he becomes suspicious and becomes aware of his accent. This was not an American officer but the sniper from somewhere in the desert. He is hacked into the radio frequencies to connect to them. Isaac calls him out, but the shooter begins asking him questions about his fellow shooter in him. He says he wants to know him better. Isaac again tries the radio again, but it is still not working. He declines the gunman's plea to continue speaking even though he keeps trying. Matthews accepts and asks to go first as the gunman threatens to shoot him again. The gunman begins discussing the conflict in his nation. Using this as a chance, Isaac attempts to map out the site's location on the ground, calculate the trajectory of the bullet, and find the shooter. The gunman tells him he's simply an ordinary Iraqi citizen attempting to preserve his nation after pausing for a moment. He then presses Isaac for information on his family, but Isaac declines, saying the inquiry is too private. Additionally, Isaac makes fun of him by claiming that he is murdering those who are genuinely attempting to advance his nation. He simply laughs and replies that he knows that the money is not for his country but for America. The shooter keeps on questioning, and when Isaac doesn't reveal anything about himself, the shooter again threatens to shoot Matthews. Isaac ignores him this time, but the shooter reveals that he knows how his other friend Dean died. Isaac is shocked by this and questions where he obtained the knowledge. When he attempts to drink from his bottle, he discovers that there is a bullet hole in it. The gunman claims to have known about Isaac's predicament and to have purposefully shot Isaac in the knee, radio, and water bottle. He says all of this was done to prevent him from leaving the location. He goes on to warn him that due to the significant blood loss from his knee, he will pass away before M. He becomes scared by this and attempts to identify the precise weapon the sniper is using. He refers to the sniper as a terrorist as well, but he only chuckles and tells him that the US military is in a foreign country killing people. Isaac looks through his scope again and he finally finds that the shooter is hiding in a pile of trash. Now making the assessments and analyzing the harsh conditions over there, Isaac concludes that the sniper is a professional and also proclaims that he is Juba, a skilled shooter whom the US Army trained and who eventually betrayed them. But he says he's just an Iraqi guy, denies being Juba, and murders everyone who attacks him first. Then, exhausted from the heat and dehydrated, Isaac collapses on the ground. Juba threatens to gouge his eyes, rip off his facial skin, and sew his tongue to his chest. Isaac requests that he shoot him to put a stop to the match. Later, Isaac intends to deceive him by attaching his jacket and helmet to his weapon. Unfortunately, Juba sees through it, and Isaac loses his helmet as it falls to the wall's exposed side. When some wind blows, Isaac takes this opportunity to run towards his deceased friend Dean. He quickly grabs his bag and radio and runs back to the wall, dodging all the bullets of the shooter. He finds out that his scope is damaged and can no longer be used to spot the shooter. Isaac discovers that Matthews is indeed alive when he detects a disruption in his radio transmissions while crawling to visit him. He gives him the location of the gunman and shouts at him. After signaling Isaac with a shiny insignia he took out of his pocket, Matthews looks at the pile of rubbish. As a diversion, Isaac continues to converse with the gunman. Matthews slowly lunges towards his rifle. The sniper reveals that he used to be a teacher in Baghdad, but after his students got killed during an American attack he decided to take revenge for their deaths. When he doesn't respond for a while, the sniper threatens to kill Matthews and asks him why he continues to carry the defective scope. In remembrance of his friend Dean, according to Isaac, he carries the scope. Matthews, in the meantime, takes his gun and points it blindly toward the garbage pile. He fires several times, and the sniper hits him squarely in the shoulder as he reloads. Isaac motions for Matthews to crawl over, but Juba promptly murders him by firing a shot to the back of the head. At this point, Isaac sobs and says he wants to go back home. Juba promises not to shoot him if that's what he truly wants. Later, Juba queries him as to why he remains there in spite of the war is already over. Isaac takes a pause and replies that he is there because it is he who actually killed Dean. Isaac confesses that he accidentally shot Dean while he was trying to shoot the sniper. He also mentions that he was lying to everyone about his death. He heard some noise coming from the radio transmitter while he was speaking with the sharpshooter. He runs to the radio right away and attempts to get in touch with the base, only to discover that he can only listen in on the talk. He finds out about the captain's situation in Juba. The sharpshooter approaches the base using his name to request assistance. Isaac discovers that Juba has been breaking into American communications for the entire time, posing as Isaac in need of assistance in order to entice backup teams to that location and quickly eliminate them all. Every time he attempts to cut the other off, he is unsuccessful. A crow lands on Isaac's leg wound later, waking him awake. He somehow manages to drag Matthew's sniper rifle and aims at the sniper hiding in the trash. Just then he notices choppers approaching. He gets up and reveals his location pushing down the wall. Juba also tries to spot Isaac, but due to the dust from the falling wall he could not locate him. Isaac fires back after figuring out where he is, although it's unclear if it hits him. Afterwards, the troops take him on a stretcher while the helicopters land behind him. Isaac tries to tell them about the concealed sniper among the confusion, but the soldiers are not able to hear him well. Juba fires at the helicopters out of nowhere as they take off. As the film closes, Isaac keeps alerting them to the sniper, but the pilot is shot, and the helicopter crashes in the middle of the desert. In the film's climax, Juba breaks inside the USA base lines in Baghdad once more while posing as an American soldier. Hope you enjoyed. Do subscribe, like and comment if you'd like to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.